All right, we're live. Welcome everyone to Table Talk, where we talk all things tabletop. I'm your host, the Bella Gamer, with my co-host Glue Boy.
Hello, hello.
And today's stream was a little late, and that's because my buddy needed a ride to and from the urgent care to see about an ear problem, and he sat in a room for 2 hours for a 5-minute appointment. And he got there before they even opened.
Lasted 5 minutes. It took that long.
Yeah.
That's God.
So yeah, and hello, Oi Man, how you doing? So that's life. That's just life in a nutshell. Other than that, things have been going good. So, it's kind of a whatever stream. We're just gonna be chatting about some of the news that have been coming up or whatever. But as always, we kind of have a little bit of oh god, my brain is so. You shut up, boy, man. You get nothing.
Also, still cutting out on my end, at least.
I'm cutting out on your end.
Yeah. Discord's not happy with you.
I wonder, am I super quiet for you?
Quiet and just every once in a while cutting out.
Okay.
Yeah, the stream audio is fine. I checked. It's purely on my end.
It's probably because my computer restarted and it fucked my settings. All right, is it better now?
Seems like it is so far.
Well, I mean, am I louder now at least?
You are the same volume, but you're not cutting out anymore.
That's so strange, because that's definitely not how that should work.
You'd think so.
Let's see. Yeah, I can definitely see the audio is quieter on Discord. Wait. I wonder if that'll change things. No, it looks like it cut out a little bit at the end there.
Didn't sound on my end.
Didn't sound like it on your end?
No. I can make out your full sentences now. Which, then I could just, turn up my volume.
Okay, well, let's see. Hopefully, anyway, that fixes things. I don't know. I did not consent. I did not consent to anything from my computer. I always hate updating. It's always the worst thing ever. And it just doesn't.
Always make it a whole process.
Well, in this mic particularly, I like this mic, but it's definitely finicky. But anyway, small talk. There we go. Those are the words I was looking for. So, Alex, what have you been up to?
Well, my plan to be back on track with uploads got shot because I got a cold that targeted my throat and lungs. And that was annoying. However, I'm not upset about it because I made the most successful video ever on my channel.
Ever?
Yes.
I need to check this out. Don't tell me. I want to see. I want to be shocked. Thank you, Gabriel. I appreciate that. Oh my god!
Yes.
Holy cow! Where did that come from?
You're telling me, my man. I made this video a week ago, and it's at 14K, and the thing is, I can see the graph. It's not slowing.
Mm-hmm.
Like because normally, after a few days, like something booms and then it slows on YouTube. It's been stable since June 5th.
Well, I guess you need to become a Trench Crusade channel now.
I probably will. I'm not upset about that. It fucking rules. Yeah, the graph is just a slow like up to like 5K and then goes boom, just higher.
That's crazy.
It's going. It's still going. I got people like talking all like happy about it. I know that my announcement was liked by one of the devs. My announcement for the video on Twitter, that one of the devs
Oh,
liked it. I don't know if they seen it, but they at least liked it, so they aware that I've made a video. But yeah, I'm glad that Trench Crusade is viable.
yeah.
Incredibly viable. Like Jesus.
Yeah, that's crazy. Uh,
Yeah, man.
that's like almost that rivals some of my most popular videos. I only have one video that's higher than that, and that might not even be the case for long.
It's the thing of like I was watching it and I'm like, I have a video. Let's see, like on my channel, if I organize my views, the most viewed video I have is my Space Marine tier list video, which was at 8.5K. That was
Yeah.
uploaded literally, actually, almost an entire year ago.
Yeah.
And it took an entire year to get up to 8K. This took around a week to match that. Less than a week. And yeah, Jesus Christ, I found my niche, I guess.
Right.
It's because like from what I'm seeing, a lot of people only talk about like the drama of Trench Crusade instead of like there's a couple people doing lore, like a couple, and it's all doing well. People just want to hear about like the game and how cool it is.
It looks
'Cause it
cool.
is.
I
It's
want to hear about
genuinely
the
cool.
game.
The
Yeah.
lore is dope. I joined the Discord because like this to keep an update on it. And yeah, they're releasing lore content, but it's just like internal in the Discord right now until it's like published in the book. And yeah, there's some very cool stuff actually. I've learned a couple things I had like little theories on in the video. I've had some stuff confirmed, and I have answers on other questions. Like in Trench Crusade, the Americas were never colonized. They were too busy dealing with demons,
Yeah, that's crazy.
which is fair. And they
True.
said that of down the line they might explore what the Native Americans are up to during this time,
Hmm.
which I'm very curious.
But
So
yeah,
yeah,
wow. I was legitimately not expecting that much.
I wasn't. Yeah, man. I wouldn't either. And
'Cause-
there's actually it's not official, but apparently some people in the Discord are working on a fan-made tabletop game, like a role-playing game for Trench Crusade.
ooh.
And I'll have to look and see. I hope it's not a 5e clone, because then I
Yeah, please
keep my
not
eyes
on
on
a
it.
D20 system. For
That's
the
all I
love of
want. I just
God.
want it to be something interesting.
Thank you, Gray. I appreciate you.
But yeah, that's my news. You have the big news, my man. Speaking of,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of spoiled in the title, so it's not
true.
necessarily news. But
Still,
but for those who may know or may already know, if you're in our Discord, which by the way, we have a Discord. Cool news like this gets spread earlier there. Check it out in the description below or below, linked on Twitch. Did you do that?
me?
The
No.
Nickbot thing?
No. Oh no. Yeah, Gray did.
Oh, Gray did. Okay. I see. I
I
see. I missed the I Discord or the exclaim Discord.
was about to be like, is it voice activated now? That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. Yeah. I mean, YouTube's been doing that lately too. If you say subscribe or like the buttons will light up. So
Oh, I didn't know that. I say it so never that I
you
wouldn't
know,
know that.
honestly, I forget to do so as well. Anyway, news. I'm having a baby. We had found out last month, about around like halfway through the month, so about a month ago or 2 months ago now. And no, it was about a month ago. And we hit the 8 week mark, and we felt pretty confident to move forward with the announcement. So We have a baby on the way. We are due sometime early to mid-January next year. So there is a lot going into that part of it. It was unexpected. Granted, we were planning on starting building our family after our wedding next year. So the baby just decided to come a little bit early. But we were planning on having a baby eventually. It's just, is hopefully after next year. Thank you, Christopher. So yeah, a little early, but we decided that it's fine. Plus, if we do want to have any other kids, now is a good time because, I'm 33 and my wife's a little bit younger than, or my fiance is a little bit younger than I am. Thank you, Koho. So we're like, you know what? Now's a good time. So we'll have our little baby now, and then depending on how this pregnancy goes or what have you, we may wait like a year and then try to aim for baby number 2, and then that's all we have plans for.
That is, yeah, like 2 is. Listen, this is coming from a guy who was raised Mormon. So like 2 is a great number.
Yeah.
You know?
I like how you don't explain whatsoever. It's like
everybody knows. Everyone knows what that implies.
You'd be surprised.
Like, I have so many aunts and uncles. Too many. I genuinely cannot keep in contact with all of them, not for a lack of trying. A chunk of them, yes, but like not for a lack of trying, because I have literally like 17 aunts and uncles on both sides of the family because of fucking Mormonism. And then you go to church as a kid and you look at like the pews and you see a family and it's like, yep, there they are with all 7 children.
Yeah.
How old are they? Yeah, those parents, they're like 34, 35.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing is, I mean, I didn't even meet my fiance until I was like 28 or something like that. So we've just, if we wanted anything more than like 2, we got started a little too late for that. So yeah, it's so we're happy, but for sure this was a little unexpected, and it does throw a bit of a wrench into the works, because the current plan that now is being changed is my fiance, who has a decent enough job, has been kind of supporting me while I've been working on content creation, and I've been busting my ass, not even like just with content creation, but kind of developing as a person. Thank you, Kupo. Developing as a person who can do content creation, as much as thanks for the sub. We appreciate it. I definitely do now.
Yeah.
Also, hey, if you have a Twitch account and Amazon Prime, we are taking Amazon Primes. Oh, that was a gift sub from Gray. Why did that not show up as a gift sub? Prime subs. Yes, give us your Prime subs, please. I have a baby on the way. There's no way I'm not going to milk that. It's a baby. And we live in America. Where having a baby is one of the most expensive things you can do.
Genuinely.
A baby needs a new sub, exactly. So yeah, so my fiance was supporting me while I was doing content creation, and to be fair, it's been going really well. We made from like 4 to 5K in no time at all, and we're almost at 6K now. We just got a couple hundred more subs to go, and I guarantee we'll probably end up hitting that either late, like at the end of this month or early next month. And then Player Core 2 for Pathfinder happens, and I guarantee the sub count's going to jump really fast during that because I'm going to be covering all the changes, and people are not going to want to miss any of that. Plus, the madness that is Player Core 2, immediately into Starfinder playtest, immediately into Tiansha character guide. It's going to be a problem. I'm going to be working a lot. But despite how well that might be going, and even if I hit 10K by the end of the year, which is the goal, it will not be enough to sustain a child at this time. But who knows? You know, I could get a 20 sub boom out of nowhere, or 20K sub boom out of nowhere. You never know with YouTube. But even then, it might be a little hard. So I will need to find some kind of gainful employment. I plan on looking in September to do something. So that might mean War of Immortals and My Mysteries might slow down as far as like content release. But I have to do what's best for the family, obviously. And with a baby coming so soon, it's just what it's gotta be. I plan on still doing content creation, so none of you have to worry. Content will still be coming out. It'll be a little slow, and then it'll slow down, and then it'll get really wonky because I'll be super sleep deprived because we have a new baby. And then hopefully things will balance out. We'll see.
The real task you got to do is channel that into making really weird, unhinged, like, content ideas.
Yeah, you're gonna see sleep deprived videos of me just talking about random tabletop stuff.
Yeah, just go full wild with it. Like, you have a sleep deprived idea, make it, post it, wake up 2 hours later, and then be like, why did I make that? and watch as one of those pops off.
Right. So yeah, a lot of things got changed, but that's fine. We'll find our way through it. And honestly, in addition to all the Pathfinder stuff I'm doing, I've had just the most terrible Fabula Ultima brainworm one can imagine. And I posted a video today, and I'm like, it'll be okay. If it does as well as Lancer or even close to Lancer, I'll be happy. And then the video's been doing really, really well, actually. Like, not so well. It's like super stunning, but it's been doing better than any of my Lancer videos really have been up until this point.
Yeah, that's a good initial, like, small niche tabletop, like, drop. Because and also it's one of the videos you post and is going to constantly grow for the next good few years. Like, it'll just generate, like, constantly alongside everything else. And yeah, I can immediately see, like, it's doing better than the Lancer stuff.
Well, and you know what's funny is I posted that. I checked the errata. I checked stuff on the game. Apparently, there's like this super popular playtest with the Arcanist, the first class I covered, because, you know, Alphabet. That's going on that completely like reworks the class.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. Like, I was like, when did they do that? I thought we were caught up.
I looked on the website. I checked everywhere. I'm like, where is this Arcanist stuff? I don't know. And apparently it's either on the Patreon or on their Discord. Which, like, I feel like there's been a lot more talk about Fabula Ultima recently. Legitimately, since last Gen Con, a lot more people have been talking about Fabula Ultima, because that's kind of when it, like, really started getting shown off. And then some new books have been dropping. They've been dropping books like crazy for Fabula Ultima. So I'm like, I'm obsessed with this game already. People are obviously interested. So I guess I'm just going to start covering Fabula Ultima content in addition to everything else on the channel.
Yeah. The other reason is because it's just genuinely, it's is worth talking about. Like the game is cool. Cuz it's fun. One thing that's been really cool about like the game that we're gearing up to do is it's actually going to be my girlfriend's like first real tabletop game.
Oh goody. I get the it's kind of not, I think it's kind of Chrissy's too, funny enough. So I get to break some new players into tabletop.
Yeah, and like they're somebody who really likes like serious role play, like the concept of that, like our play style,
Hmm.
and we have like our character concept and like really latched onto it. And going through Fabula Ultima, it was a really easy process, like a really easy jump. And I gotta say, the build that we settled on was really fun because Fabula Ultima is a great game where I think you can go really complicated or really simple, but the simplicity isn't like boring simplicity.
Yeah.
Because like they're playing a Wayfarer lore master sharpshooter. And yeah, they roll insight for gun
Yeah.
and they're going to make travel kind of funny. They currently have it set because their character wants to, strike it rich in the black market and undercut the corpos. That's their vibe.
Yeah.
And so they have the skill maxed out for if we roll a 3 on travel dice, we get treasure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we're kind of having a bit of a session zero. I like the game's simple enough. I figured, hey, if everyone just made characters, we probably can get started. I don't feel like a big session zero is super necessary, but we're definitely get, because I think we have another Wayfinder who has the same skill and they don't stack, sadly. So,
No, okay.
but we'll see. Fabula Ultimate equals FU. And yeah, Wayman, trust me, my kids, they're not going to be able to get away from it. They are doomed to be in tabletop.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same for me in like I don't know, estimate like fucking 5 years or something. Like a good while. It's
Yeah,
like
I mean, Suzanne and I
literally
just passed our 5 year mark, so
it's also the full idea of like I need to get out of rental, move to a place that is not where I currently live, and like have more money that is sustainable. Once I have those markers, then I can like even think about it.
come to where we live.
I've thought about it. There's okay, so here's the best part about it, Cam. So what
Hmm.
I'm currently doing, I am working maintenance, like at my hotel. I've been promoted, and I doing this. I'm making a lot more money, which means I can actually save up for a move. Then I am building up training for a higher paying maintenance position over where you guys are, or at
Ooh.
least nearby, within 30 minutes to an like 30-minute commute around in like that area because there's so many complexes for rental properties that need maintenance and landscaping people,
There
mainly
are
maintenance.
actually genuinely.
So those are very high paying and have a lot of upward mobility because I was talking to my boss about that and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly the industry you're trying to go into. You will be set." He's like, "The real goal, all you need to do is get a couple guys working under you and you're ready. Like you're just fine." And then he's like, "That or find work at a school and you're just are fine. You'll
Yeah.
have enough." And I was like, "Oh, both of those are in that area." So,
We're slowly getting everyone up here. Think
that's my
of all
plan.
the content we can make.
The other reason is if I can get over there and at least be over there, it is a quicker commute because I can just take the ferry. It's an easier ferry ride over to my parents. So like it'll
Yeah,
just
it's
be
it's
quicker.
a little bit easier. We've done it. We did it recently. It's a little okay. It's still
They
about.
live directly across the water from the ferry. Like they're right there. So it's like
Are they? They're all the way up there.
There's a ferry that goes from like there's a ferry within an hour of you guys that goes right down to Porter, not Porter Street, Bainbridge Island.
Is there? Hmm.
Yeah, I've
Where is
accidentally
there?
taken it.
Ah, that's the secret.
Yeah,
We won't say exactly.
I
Just
have accidentally taken that ferry. That's why I know.
interesting.
Yeah, because my
Um,
Google Maps forced me to, and then funnily enough, I took a wrong turn on for that ferry because it's an hour north of Seattle, and
mhm.
then like this specific ferry,
Yeah, I
and
know this
then
ferry.
I took a wrong turn. My Google Maps redirected me. I was then coming straight onto the ferry, and I was like, this doesn't feel right, and I looked so confident and so like ready because that's how I approach every situation I'm uncertain in. I just pretend I know what I'm doing to where the worker waved me in, and as I was parking in there, I realized I didn't pay for this. This 100% was a ferry because I looked as I was driving by. There was a line with a ferry kiosk for buying a ticket. Uh, I just I accidentally bullshit my way to a free ferry ride down to where my parents were, and I was like, okay, cool.
Crazy. Yeah, it's actually it's not that bad for sure.
No,
Uh,
it's easier because the difference is just there the weather can decide that if I decide to drive back home I will die, so that's the difference.
yeah, that's fair. Um, class reveal for the kid when we'll know some of the specifics on the child sometime after uh the 12th week is about when we're gonna, because that's when we have to go in again. So we're gonna go do the test, and we're gonna see what we're gonna have. So next sometime early to mid July, we'll find out. But yeah, anyway, that's cool. And I mean, like I said, all the content. There's so much content I would like to shoot that would be so much easier to have everyone present and everything. So it's a bard. Maybe. Who knows? We'll find out for sure. But yeah, so hey, potentially, and Alex isn't the only one who's been kind of gearing up. So we might have more people nearby.
Yeah, it's mainly because like there's a set cap to how much income I can make at my current like hometown, or not in hometown, just current town. So I'm like, once I built up the skill set in money base, I need to move up to you guys because I see money opportunities. And then also I look up there and I'm like, dog, the real estate market, it's doing
Yeah,
so
it's
nice.
crazy here.
It's like it's booming, and I just need to pray that it doesn't flip flop. Like before I decide to live up there, because I'm
Yeah,
like, that'd suck. Because I
that
know how
would.
volatile it can be. Like, trust me. like like I know. I've had to hear it endlessly.
Yeah, it's and what's also crazy is we were kind of driving around for my buddy's whole ear thing today, and I'm like, I'm gonna go explore because I like to do that. I like to drive around and explore places, and a lot of the places nearby are kind of cool. There's some really nice places nearby, and it's like it's a nice little town, but you literally drive 5 minutes in any direction outside of the town, instant farmlands.
Yeah.
Just flat nothing farmland. Farms as far as the eye can see. It's wild. And I'm like, this is a cute little town. I would hate to grow up here and I'd hate to live here. And it's crazy that it's not that far from where I currently live, where I'm like, I love it here. There's so many great things nearby. Like, we got water nearby, we have a lake nearby, we have camping nearby, Literally, it's like a 5-minute walk for me to go and dig clams and oysters. Like,
Which
it's
is always fun.
crazy. It's so good. And and these two places are not that far apart, so it's wild. And it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have a bunch of people up here for sure to do like board gaming maybe, or to shoot fun skits and stuff like that for the channel. So we have a lot going on. Gotta change your name to Hyperla Gamer. Things seem to be working out for you. I mean, I am truly lucky in life. A lot of negatives do surround some of these things, so I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I will say genuinely I'm blessed to have all the good things in my life and the people in my life especially. So I'm definitely not going to take any of that for granted, but there's definitely, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. That's for sure. I mean, even this kid is granted a blessing in itself, but it's kind of interrupting my YouTube plans a little bit. And I now have to go get a more mundane job, at least for the time being, while the channel is still cooking. But I have a sponsor now. Technically, I'm in a partners program for a company.
The two types of channel sponsorships, and that one's the partner program one.
Yeah. So very soon I'm going to have some stuff to show in my videos, and if you guys, follow the link, so many channels say, I get like a small commission out of that. So it's not Raid Shadow Legends. So if it was, I'd be memeing the shit out of it. No, it's
also you'd be eating good because they pay.
Well, it depends on your channel size. My channel size, it's all a commission, but
true. But
if I was 100K, then they pay me like $500 every time I say it. So.
Oh, fair.
But maybe one day. Maybe one day.
I did do a mobile game sponsorship once. I'm hoping eventually I'll get another. Even for a channel at my size at the time, gotta say, mobile game sponsors, I will shill that shit for how much they pay. I will take it. That is like, that's like a good few shifts at work just for what literally took me about an hour and a half of like total time. Just getting everything set up of like writing it, reading over like the requirements, recording it, and editing the ad. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I mean, for the partnership I have, it's more like, hey, I'm gonna be doing my video. I gotta tell you how cool this thing is that I'm getting from them, and then if you guys go to the link and get the thing, then actually I don't even know why I'm not talking about it. I have like a clothes brand. It's called Into the AM. They make like okay shirts as far as I've been made aware. The reviews for it are always crazy. It's always, these are the best shirts I ever had, or these are the worst shirts I've ever had. There's like no in between. But they seem to sell very well on Amazon, at the very least. And I get to wear, I ordered like 3 shirts. I ordered like this one with an astronaut and a Cthulhu monster eating him. This one with Bigfoot. I figure that's appropriate for where we live. And I got a Viking. It's called like Viking Noble shirt or whatever. Cool Viking looking shirt. And all I have to do is for like 15 seconds be like, hey, these shirts are really good. They feel super comfy. They fit me. I haven't had any shrinkage with them. Nothing yet like that. I like these shirts. If you guys follow this link, you get a 10% discount, and I get a small little kickback back for doing that, more or less. So it's not huge, but the good thing about it is it's non-exclusive. It's really simple to do, and it's for something that I feel like a lot of people typically want, which is shirts. which I need new shirts. So that's also one of the reasons I took the deal was they're gonna give me 3 shirts and probably more in the future. Plus, there's custom giveaways I could set up, and as well, there's like the shirts are like okay price. You can get like 3 tees for $60, more or less.
It's not bad.
And that's actually not including the 10% extra discount. So, like a little over $50 for 3 graphic t-shirts. They also do hoodies and other kinds of clothing as well. So, it's not bad. And the best part is it's non-exclusive, so if I don't want to do it, I don't have to. And literally, if I just am not doing a shout out in the particular video, if I'm wearing the tee, then I can put the in the description the link, and if anyone uses it, I still get paid anyway. So free shirts, potentially extra money, and it's, you know what, it'll be a good practice deal for anything bigger in the future. You know, honestly, some gamer subs for G Fuel would be super cool to do, because I feel like we need more TTRPG related content in those areas as well.
I will, like, I'll say gamer subs for how they operate their partnership. It's an application on their site.
Yeah,
You
most
fill
of
out
them
application, and like they'll get back to you if they think it's worth. I really want to be partnered with gamer subs, if all things, only because like I actually use their product and enjoy it. I can't stand most of their branding, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I'm saying this here because I know they'll never see it. I
Fair.
don't like it. I'm not a fan. I hate gamer branding shit. I hate egregious over sexual anime shit. 2 of my biggest pet peeves. The other thing though is the only energy drink brand or like caffeine thing I've ever had that doesn't ruin my insides. It doesn't make me want to die, and it actually like wakes me up and makes me feel like alert, and then doesn't make me feel tired a good few hours later. Like, it works as advertised and it tastes good. So it's a legit good product that I enjoy. So I enjoy it because it's like I drink it and I'm like, man, I like that there's actual no sugar, like full keto. I'm a fan of this. So it'd be like a sponsorship of I thoroughly like your product.
Yeah. Honestly, I just want more TTRPG related swag. I think that's the thing that I want to see more in the open market. Just more stuff for nerds like us who talk about imaginary people for hours a day. But, you know, so it's a start at the very least, and when the channel gets bigger, sponsorships, Patreon, all that kind of stuff are going to be the lifeblood of the channel. So, you know, the more I can do, the more I can benefit. Like, the better this works, the better it works for everyone, because the bigger my channel gets, the more things like Fabula Ultima, Lancer, even Pathfinder will get out there for people in the public. The more money I make to help support my now growing family. And, you know, the more general content we can all share. So it's something that I feel like it's worth working, you know, blood, sweat, and tears to get as far and as big as we can. So it's all baby steps, but in the right direction. But enough about boring YouTuber stuff. Let's talk about some tabletop stuff, shall we? So, Fabula Ultima, yeah. We are not going to be streaming this game in particular, but it's also a game that has 9 players.
That is true.
Which is a metric ton. Now, to be fair, 3 of those players at the very least are going to be there for who knows how long. Short time, long time, whatever. So that's mainly the reason why we have so many players. Also, it's a rules light game. So I'm not super stressed about all the rigmarole that kind of goes around running tabletop in general, because I don't need to prepare maps. I don't need to do any of that. I just need to tell a fun story. And the best part about Fabula Ultima is the players can just help me tell the story. At any time, a player can just throw down a Fabula point and be like, GM, there's a wise monk walking down the road. And I'll be like, all right, cool, let's roll with it. Or if a player crit succeeds on a check, they can just have a plot twist happen and add something to the setting or the scene, you know. So it's a game that is very open faced, and I really appreciate that, but it has enough meat on its bones where like crafting characters is genuinely fun.
It's like what I mentioned, where characters can be as simple or as complicated as you really want. Because like some of the characters we have coming in, there are some really weird, funky combos we have coming in. And then there's the character I helped my partner make that is, they do two things very well. They make travel simple, and they shoot a gun really well with their intelligence. And that's it. And they are really happy with the, like, there's two things they have to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many classes. Let's see. How many classes are there? How many are in the base game of Fabula Ultima? Is it 9?
I want to say it's more.
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 base classes. 15 base classes with,
and then 3 from the Technica one.
Yep.
And 4 from the High Fantasy.
Yep. And
oh yeah, then there's 2 special edition ones.
2 from the Halloween edition.
Yeah.
So that's 24 different classes. Now, that's already good in itself. You know, yeah, it's like, hey, we're at Pathfinder numbers. Kind of cool, right? Well, in Fabula Ultima, your character is not a class. Your character is multiple classes. In fact, the least amount of classes your character can be in the game is 5. That's also the recommended number. But technically, it could be way more than that if you really, really want it to. So, and when you start the game, your character's a minimum 2 classes. Right? It's a game that is completely designed around the concept of you're not playing a class. You're playing a character who uses different class abilities that suit their needs. Like, Alex, you just made a character. Talk about some of the things you do and what classes you take it from.
Yeah. So there are 3 classes that I've directly yoinked to make my character. My character, which my main design inspiration was, I want to play a Devil May Cry or a Metal Gear Rising character. And so I went in and I started building, and I came out of this with a character where I'm like, all right, I did it. So I am playing a Weapon Master Elementalist Esper. I am really good at killing one person at a time. Either I look at somebody and they're within earshot and I focus on them, or they have a status effect and I focus on them. And I can immediately make some attacks with just bonus accuracy to my sword swings because, you know, they're my focus. Alongside accuracy bonus I can later get with Weapon Master with swords. And then I went into Elementalist because I wanted to have some spells, so I wanted some punchy, explosive stuff. And the fun thing, Elementalist has a skill called Spell Sword, which allows you to, instead of casting magic, you know, normally with a magic check, you can instead cast it with a weapon attack. And so, it'll also decrease the mana cost of the spell, so I can cast certain spells for free as I sword swing. And yeah, I have a character that just, he now has an elemental sword when he desires it to be elemental, that he makes one person explode at a time. It's pretty fun. I've decided, yeah, I'm just gonna play Jetstream Sam, and just a better Magus is the other idea.
Yeah.
It's a Magus with no setup is the vibe, okay? It's a Magus with zero setup time.
Right, true. Yeah, it's actually insane some of the different combos you can do in the game. I mean, a very fun one. So this game does not necessarily have combat tactics. It's, like I said, a rules-light game. It has a little bit of meat on its bone when it comes to what the characters can do, because the characters can apply all kinds of debuffs on the enemies. There's like HP scaling, mana scaling, all that kind of stuff. And then there are just like the rules light things you can only do in a rules light game, where you're like, all right, I swing my sword. Oh, I got a crit. Okay. What I want to happen is when I swung my sword, a tree fell down as well and is pinning the enemy to the ground. You know, that's the kind of stuff that the game has. And they do, though, have a Century Recall knowledge from Pathfinder. And a build that I've been theory crafting that's actually kind of fun is it's a intelligence gathering build. It uses the, what is it? It's not Scholar. It uses the Lore Master mixed with Darkblade. And the really, really fun thing about it is Lore Master has a skill that is called, I'm looking at it, or I'm looking it up right now. They have a skill called Permanently Focused, which every time you invest in this skill, which by the way, you level your skills in this game. So you win every time you level up, you get to choose what class you put a skill point into. And when you level up, some skills can be taken multiple times to make the effect better. So this one, every time I invest in this skill, it gives me 3 extra mind points, which is pretty good. But the big part about it is when you perform an open check, which the recall knowledge, it's called scan in this game, is called, using insight, which is what scan uses, you gain a bonus equal to your skill level to this check. So whenever you scan an enemy, for whatever reason, you get a bonus. And bonuses are really hard to find in this game, particularly. That's paired with the Dark Blades painful lesson is every time another creature causes you to lose hit points, you can immediately perform the study or scan action on this creature. And if you do, you gain a bonus equal to your skill level in this to your check. So, by investing in both of these, the bonuses stack. Every time an enemy hits me, I learn everything about them.
You take damage, and it's like, I know everything I need to know.
Because it's like, an open check. So because it's an open check, you learn based on the level of degree of success that you get over the check. And with these two together, you get a +9. Now, this system uses a 2 dice system. It depends on what dice you're using. But if you're playing this build, you're going to have your insight be your highest check, which at the beginning of the game is a D10 and can go up to a D12. So it will be potentially a D10 or a D12 plus 2D12, plus 9 on a check that has typically a minimum difficulty of 7.
Jesus.
So you get hit, you learn everything about the enemy, Not only that, but you have a bunch of extra mind points thanks to Lore Master and the benefit of the skill. So whatever combat route I decide to take this character with, whatever weapon I decide to go with, I'll either be a really good spellcaster with a bunch of extra mind points, or really just lean into the Darkblade aspect and just go a vengeance style. You hit me, I'm in crisis, you're now my mortal enemy, and get major power buffs against the enemy.
Yeah.
And that's just with 2 classes.
Honestly. And like, yeah, you haven't even added the extra bullshit.
And that's not including heroic skills that you
exactly
can get when you get class mastery that just further amplify what your characters can do.
So, yes, I think, oh man, the classes more akin to skill trees, I think, is a way to look at it. Classes in the game, like, while there's not like intense combat mechanics, because we were playing it, a lot of it did feel like our battle map setup we did was basically like side by side Final Fantasy, like early Final Fantasy like combat setup, where we're all just like face to face.
Yeah, it's like Final Fantasy 7, you know, if you've played the
Yeah.
original version. Anyway.
Yeah, and then like you read your character and like they're like mumbling their idle animation and they do the thing and then boom. It's like that. But essentially, like, as you're creating a character, a way that it kind of can feel like sometimes is you have a general concept and you find the first way to get to that concept. You're like, okay, this class will give me the first step to do that. And you're looking at it and you're like, okay, so this is going to be probably the main stats I'm going to be using. Therefore, I can maybe cut out these stuff. And so that just marks off a bunch of classes that you're just not going to really want to dip in. Like, you're not just going to get a lot of use out of. And you start dipping into everything else to find the combos. Because every class, every class can really just combo with each other so well. It's fantastic. You can create some really fucky weird stuff. I really like Slug's description of her character of, I throw bricks and they're helpful or harmful. I don't know fully what that means yet, but I'm excited to learn. I don't know what classes that is. I think Symbolist was what
Symbolist
it was?
is one of them.
Symbolist, Wayfarer for the inventory points, and I don't know what the third was.
I don't even know if she finished off which one it was or not. I can't remember.
I feel like, if anything, the session 0 or 0.5 that we do is probably going around because we want to make sure that we're just like not stepping on everyone's toes with like character builds. Like we would, because that's the main bit is just when you do a lack of session 0, it's everyone's kind of designing characters in isolation.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but during the session 0 as well, because the game is so open-faced, I'm having everyone, like, there's this starting city that they're all going to be in, and every player is going to add either a trait that the city has or a theme that the city has to build the city up.
Ooh.
So the city comes with a trait and a theme. It's corpo. So it's run by a corporation of some variety or form, and it's postmodern. So good level of technology. Maybe not high sci-fi, but definitely like hover cars, all that kinds of stuff. They have magic tech, essentially.
Yeah.
The players can then each one will add a trait or a theme. So, for instance, a player might be like rustic. So now the city is themed off of like medieval European architecture that's been postmodernized.
Oh God, 9 people doing that.
Yeah, we're going to have a city that's going to have a lot of things. A player might add corrupt. And it's just like, all right. So the corpo is kind of doing some shady, like seedy stuff. And it's, so there's all ways that this can change dramatically. And it works perfectly in the game. And not only that, but because it has traits and themes, certain actions in the game actually relate to specific traits and themes. For instance, like if a player comes from a background, the players have traits. So if they come from a background which we actually, you know what? We do have some players who are corpo as well. So any corpo related
Ooh,
actions are going they can take unique actions because of they have a trait. They can spend a fabula point and they can take some unique actions because of those traits.
fun. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to all discuss it because yeah, the main bit that uh we did was just come up with like another location to be from because like to travel to this area, so it's like the first time discovering it. Because also that's the fun. I want to go all in on discovery. So like I
Yeah.
want the city to also be like fully new for me and the character. And so I've just designed like, all right, there's also somewhere on this planet, there is Final Fantasy Night City is the vibe. There is just a full on like cyberpunk Night City, just
Nice.
Magitech Night City though. Because it's full on like operates very similarly of like you go down the street, there's a chance you might get robbed and shot. So just make sure you're kind of a badass walking around, which is where then the R2 characters are going to be coming from, which is why they're like, okay, that's why they're kind of competent coming out of the gate like this.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, there's so much. So I'm very excited to kind of dive into it this way. And legitimately, like, I just been like I said, had this terrible brainworm of Fabula Ultima. Like, I need some Fabula Ultima. Also, I'm a forever GM, and for the last like year, 2 years, it's been a while. I've only been running one game at a time, and it's been killing me slowly inside. So getting another game I can just have, and not only that, but that uses some of my best traits as a GM, which is just complete improv. Like, this is gonna be a good time. I'm genuinely excited. As far as some other news in tabletop, we did get a sneak peek at Champion and what we're gonna expect from
Yeah,
Champion from Player Core 2.
I really like. I have no clue if it was announced during the last stream. I like that they named all of the edicts.
Mm-hmm. They did. I have forgotten them. I know like half of them.
I am pulling it up right now so I could name it. Uh, all of the ones that we have the names of, which will also give it like the sanctification you have to be. There are just or causes. Sorry, there are the causes.
Yeah.
Justice, liberation, and obedience, which does not require sanctification, since sanctification is an optional class feature. You don't have to take it at all. Desecration and inequity, which is only for unholy, and redemption and grandeur, which is only open to holy.
Yeah, that's super cool. Also, the use of sanctification in this way is very interesting. And the best part about it is because it's more open face, you can now run an evil ish, or at least a character who's not very good in something like obedience, for instance.
I really like that there's just the flexibility to run like neutral paladins. Like which I mean, I feel like, there was already a thing like that with you could do that. But sometimes you look at a character, you have a character idea, you're looking at like the existing causes as it's like alignment restricted, and you're like, this god doesn't fit this. Or maybe like you want to play a god that's like a little shitty, but maybe you're like working on a sect that interprets their methodology in like a slightly better way. Because that's a thing that can happen. Just like, this god has some negatives, but there's the other side of the coin that can still be revered. And I think this is a lot more open, especially because the thing they mention in here is that that's literally what they want to do. They want to allow for more well-rounded, nuanced characters, and there's better balance over. They want it to have to be should nots instead of everything being a must not when it comes to your anathema and your edicts and all that. which I think is a fair change.
Yeah. And this also opens up a lot of different opportunities even within some organizations. Hell Knights, for instance, of course, are all probably based on obedience. But
Yeah.
now you can have many that are on a non-sanctified, some who might like follow closer to Asmodeus, who are unholy obedience, and then some who might follow not Torag anymore, actually, because Torag's leaving the God Claw, but
Oh,
there's another
I can see some Hell Knights being
Abadar.
grandeur as well.
Abadar's yeah, I mean Abadar's good, just not that good. There's another god that's a lot more poignant, I believe. Anyway, but you could have holy Hell Knights, which is kind of cool too. You know,
Yeah.
Imodea, yeah, Imodea or Imodea is a good example. Yeah, that's a really really good one to do with the Hell Knights. So that's really cool, and I'm excited for this because that means now Iomede, uh, now we might actually get a Hell Knight book because now Hell Knights are not necessarily just a somewhat fucked up hell following organization. I mean, they are, but like now they can
Yeah.
be a bit more diverse than just that.
Yeah, there's more like wiggle room, there's more nuance to pull into them as well, which is fun. And I think that's the direction Paizo likes to go.
Yeah.
Is when original lore had something be like, all right, here's this faction and they're only this. They like to go, well, how can we open this in a way that feels kind of justified?
Yeah, there's no forces of a Hell State, but I mean, they're currently in the lore. There are actually some good Hell Knights as well. So, you know, uh, there's a lot that can be done. So I'm super excited about that. Plus, the talons of the Godclaw are being changed up. So that's all the more reason why I'm excited for the idea of a Hell Knight book in the near future. The champion also got some other interesting changes as well. Now they just have an aura at all times, and any ability or effects like their reaction is going to be based on this aura. That sounds kind of like a big nothing because it's like, oh, so we're just going to rather than have a range for our reaction, it's going to be based on an aura. That's going to be more or less the same. But this does mean it can be more flexible, and if they add a feat that increases your aura size, you know what that means. Champion reactions could have a much bigger range.
Which will be awesome.
They also get a cool ability. They added a new blessing because they rather than divine allies, we're now getting the blessings of the devoted, and one of them is Shield of Spirits. So that same aura, when you activate this effect, gives all allies within the aura a +1 status bonus to AC, and each time an enemy makes an attack against an ally in your aura, they take a D4 spirit damage even if they miss, which is nuts. So you get a big thorns area for your allies.
It's just champion shaping to be something that I'm going to be actually kind of excited to play.
Yeah.
It's like champion's a class that I think is interesting. I see the use, I see the intrigue, but is a lot of the time a class where I'm like, meh, there are other classes. And then I look at this and I'm like, all right, never mind. Player Core 2 is going to really, really shift things. I'm going to give a shit a lot more.
So, overall, we definitely are going to have a much more interesting champion. They also are focusing on making the champion have more base actions rather than being reliant on passive effects, small bonuses against specific enemies. Their oaths are being moved to divine mysteries. Litanies are unfortunately on the back burner until they can find a book more appropriate for them. You might be right. Regardless, we are going to see a lot of new stuff, and we'll have all the deets when it releases sometime next month. Also, we're going to be receiving periodically, we're going to receive, probably close to like every week now, we're going to receive a new blog about one. Interestingly, they did mention 4 of the classes specifically, which only 3 of them are getting major changes. I have a big thought that the Barbarian is going to be one of these 4, because they did mention some more kind of significant changes for Barbarian than the other ones.
Yeah, the alterations to the rage action and some other just kind of changing of how their feats are kind of laid out. That's significant. I don't think it's going to be like, it's not as big as like Champion, obviously, but it's still like it's going to alter some method of how Barbarian is played.
I know all the Alchemist players out there are frothing at the mouth waiting for the Alchemist one. They're just sitting there like, are we getting higher proficiency? Tell us we're getting higher proficiency.
I know, right?
So, I'm excited for the Alchemist one. I do think I think I've changed my mind. I think I'll end up covering Champion first, as far as what classes I cover first. Then I may hit Oracle, or I might hit Alchemist next. We'll have to see. We'll have to see which changes are the more exciting one. But I definitely feel like Champion is one that a lot of people are very much expecting. So, that being said, I think we're going to start with Champion, and then we'll move to the other ones as I see fit, depending on how many people are talking about what classes or when. I really hope I get the book a little early so that I can see the stuff and make videos earlier, because my God, if I don't get any, like, my life is going to be so 100% work as soon as a book comes out, mostly because I have friends coming like 2 to 3 weeks after the book I start producing videos. So there's just gonna be days I'm just gonna have to make like multiple videos in a day to try to get any kind of breathing room. It's going to be rough, but I'll do it for you. I'm willing to accept this sacrifice. And also, if this is anything like Player Core 1, it's going to be a big boom for the channel. Heck, if it's anything like Howl of the Wild was crazy good for the channel. We got like 500 subs during Howl of the Wild, which is crazy. Nearly as much as the subs I got from Player Core 1, honestly. So Player Core 2...
Yeah, just giant boost.
Yeah, Player Core 2, I feel is going to be even bigger. And it's immediately followed by not only just like the new Starfinder playtest, but Tiansha Character Guide, which I know Character Guide is going to be crazy because we're getting new class options and such in that as well. So, you know, it's going to be a really, really big time. I am excited, and a lot of this book feels like Player Core 1, I feel was kind of very okay. It nothing really besides Witch felt super new. Witch got the biggest changes, and then some classes got like some feat changes. To be fair though, War Priest Clerics ate real well. Their War Clerics are really, really cool now, thanks to Player Core 1. But other than that, there wasn't like
honestly
a lot of big changes. Player Core 2 is way heavier in changes, and I feel like I'm seeing a lot of things here that makes me excited for future Pathfinder content, because it feels like they're opening the system up a little bit more, and we're going to see a lot more really interesting rules and interactions. So I can't wait, and with Tiansha Character Guide coming out and with War of Immortals coming out, I feel like we're definitely going to be seeing Paizo really stepping it up and really stepping out of D&D's shadow by just having their own stuff and really owning it this time. No longer are they placating the D&D players like, come to us, we're like D&D, we're similar to D&D. Now they're like, nah, man, come to us because we're better than D&D.
Which is how it should be. stand on your own new merits of your game
Yeah.
and like really set yourself apart. It's like it's the bit where we're finally at the end we talked about or we're nearing the end of where we talked about at the beginning when all this was kind of announced, and when especially when Player Record 1 dropped, where we were talking about how for a little bit things are going to be a little wonky. We're going to have just some classes, and we're going to have to wait for everything to get the remaster treatment and everything to be republished in a nice way. And it's kind of nice to know that that's going to be done soon. It's like, sweet, the remaster is going to be finished, and like they're going to have a game that's truly like a Pathfinder, and all of, I guess, anything Wizards of the Coast is kind of scrubbed out of it. And it's like its own thing. That's kind of fun.
Except for the Radon one. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. And you know what's even funnier? This is coming out literally like just a couple months, or not even a couple, like a month and like a half before D&D 2024.
God, yeah, that's true.
And we're going to see exactly what a Paizo remaster looks like and a D&D remaster essentially looks like. I
can't wait for the quality difference.
I am so fascinated to see the quality difference, because
it's so weird.
It's going to be astounding. It's going to be insane. The thing is, we've been so done with D&D. We're already expecting it, and what happens isn't going to be crazy to us. But the reality of the situation is going to be bonkers. Imagine a company being backed by Hasbro Toys, of all companies, and Wizards of the Coast, which is successful more than enough in its own right, especially with Magic.
Especially.
And
it's the moneymaker.
It's going to be magnitudes worse than a game designed by Paizo, a company not even a tenth of the size or backing. It's going to be surreal just how different the level of quality is in a way that it should never be.
I'm just so excited to read through it and just go through it. I'm like, this isn't like nothing fundamentally has changed. That's my biggest prediction. I can't wait. It's hey guys, guess what? Nothing has been done. The game is the exact same. The format looks different. Because I don't see them doing anything different. Are they gonna publish all the subclasses in the core book? Because like the ones people like are in Tasha. Like, I know that much.
Will we see Artificer show up in the book?
I wonder. That's one of the classes that people really like, because it's one of the better designed classes, to be completely honest.
Also, hi, Easy Does It, and yes, Dad Luck Gamer. I'm very happy the fact of that little coinky dink there, that Bad and Dad are so close.
It does work.
They do just blend real easy. So yeah, I'm gonna be Dad Luck Gamer soon, and it's great. Very, very excited. Yeah, I mean, everyone who's here and everyone who honestly checks in on the channel, we're done with D&D. Not that I necessarily don't want the D&D people to eat good. I do. I have so many friends who want to play D&D or who play D&D actively, and I want them to be happy. I want them to have a game that's nice, that works out for them. And if I was to have things my way, I would have a D&D game that isn't Pathfinder levels of crunchy, but is designed well around the level of crunchy that the system seems to want to go around. And let the people there play the game in a way that feels good, you know? The classes don't have to be balanced, but I would definitely like the level of balance to be squished a little bit so that, you know, there's not mandatory builds because either you're playing in a game where your character is doing 30 damage in a round and one of your allies is doing 300 damage in a round, you know?
Yeah. Like, I'm in a D&D game right now. It's only really interesting because it's heavily homebrewed. That's the only reason that it's like mechanically interesting in any way to interact with. There's still things when it comes to D&D where I'm just like, there's still D&D isms that are like an issue, but it's also the thing where because of the GM, you know that it's like that issue of like Wizards of the Coast and the core design has made it so there are correct answers if you want to play like optimally and well, and there are just stuff that is bad. There's just bad stuff. It was something we were actually talking about last game because I was mentioning we were joking about it since I'm gonna be leaving the game soon, and I was joking around with Q. I was like, "Hey man, you know what would be really funny? You should level me up before the game ends." And he was like, "No, I can't level you or not before the game before I leave." It's like, but before the game ends. I'm like, no. You should level me up. Nothing fundamentally will change.
Yeah.
Look at what bards get at level 16. Nothing fundamentally changes.
Right. Yeah. That's honestly the thing that irked me the most. I played a wizard from I think it was 6. I don't remember. I think it was 6. 6 to 17. And yeah, wish clone loop, yeah. And leveling was honestly almost never interesting or fun.
Really, it really just isn't.
Like I don't think I can even name a handful of situations where I was super excited to level, other than the fact that I just gained access to a new spell level.
Like, there are a couple of levels in D&D that are like, oh shit, I leveled, and it's like when you turn level 5 as a marshal because you get multi-attack finally, level 3 because you finally get your subclass for the classes that have to wait that long. Level 12 is usually a hype one for a lot of subclasses. You see how hard I'm struggling?
Yeah. And yeah, Dead Phoenix, dead on. Let's make a core mechanic of the game. The ability to add a random bonus to your roll between 0 and 19.
Yeah, it's like there can be some really cool stuff that you can do in the game. And it's when you look at it and you're just like, all right, what do I get? The game, this class, this subclass will give me like 8 to like 10 abilities total ish. Not a lot. Distributed out to like 20 levels. That is so fucking slow. And it's also the part where I'm like, Jesus Christ, you also only get 4 ability score increases. Most players on average will, I think, see like 2 of those for a normal campaign at like 4 and 8. Or, sorry, 4, 8, 12. So 3 a lot of times. You'll see 3. And they have a bunch of feats, which do actually make the game operate a little better. I do think the feats are fun. And when you are actually using the feats, hell yeah, these are great. You know what's not cool? Deciding against a genuine statistical increase, which is really important, or horizontal leveling. Those are your 2 options.
Yeah,
which way, Western man? Like, it's so boring. It's something I also fucking was really fascinated by when I was listening to Dimension 20, because every once in a while they fucking hit the mark for D&D like critique, and then they don't like realize. Because it's like they talked about high level casting is or high level combat in D&D is just stun counterspell, stun counterspell, stun counterspell. That is how it goes. And then they also talked about one of the players was saying that for her character, and this is for their Never After campaign, she was like, I was looking at what a barbarian gave me, and it was really boring. It was I take some levels and I just get more, I just can rage better, I guess. Then I look at Druid and it just gives me options in more situations. So I would rather take a multi-class and like pick more options. Even if it is not the optimal decision, I can at least have more fun with variety.
Well,
It's like, there
see,
you go.
and that's the problem overall with D&D is for all the smooth brains who jump into my comments to tell me a particular archetype or something is bad because it doesn't make your numbers bigger. They don't, even in D&D, you don't understand how tabletop is supposed to work. Tabletop is a situation where you run into encounters of a variety of types and forms. So do you know what's the most optimal way to handle with a situation where you don't know what's coming up next? It's to have more options.
Yeah.
So
You should have a
yes,
better idea.
in D&D even though yes, sure, you can have situations where your character is just doing dumb amounts of damage. And to be fair, sometimes the dumb amounts of damage will make up way more for the lack of options. But there's a lot of times in D&D or like even in Baldur's Gate where sometimes just getting new options will make your character way more viable in some situations because you're now no longer stuck with nothing to do in some turns. It's
Now you can just do something.
It's insane to me how very restrictive D&D is. Like in a genre of games where the whole point is what can I do, what interesting things am I capable of, the natural language rolling can be confusing. I mean, yeah, it's also just incomplete. In a game that's all about, using your imagination, solving problems in a way you can't do even in like a video game half the time. And D&D is like, well, every enemy has attack of opportunity. So if an enemy runs up to you, you better not move or you're just giving them free action economy.
Every combat is stand still and fight.
Yeah, every combat is face tank until one of us dies. And that's why player metas exist. Because when you have a combat system that's only like that, meta is super important. Also, thank you first for the congratulations. I appreciate you. And yeah, exactly that. Marshals, endgame marshals being able to do really nothing but lift things because they don't have abilities that do anything other than just combat, is boring and uninteresting and oftentimes inoptimal for situations. Do you know why one of the biggest problems in D&D is the party ran into a locked door and they failed the check, and now the DM has to frantically come up with a new way for them to get around the locked door? It's because players don't have enough options to get around things like locked doors.
Lockpick and really hope that you succeed. If you don't succeed, hope someone has knock. If someone doesn't have knock, oh boy.
Yeah, it's bullshit, honestly. And like, and to be fair, these same people are in Pathfinder. I pulled up the Claw Dancer. A rank archetype, by the way. It is so good. And the number of brain dead people who came on just to say this class or this archetype sucks because classes have better feats than this archetype. And it's just like, do you not know what an archetype is about or what it's for? Yeah, sure. There might be another feat similar to this one, but one, all these feats link up, work really well together. And two, what if I don't want to play said class who has similar better feat? What if I want another class to have similar feats like the other class? Only better, because you don't have to worry about half level or for multi-class feeding or whatever.
Like, sometimes too, you play an archetype because it fits the aesthetic of what you're trying to go for, rather than like, you're like, yeah, this is similar, or like, there's a thing like this that does it slightly better. But it's like, yeah, but the vibe is different. I might be doing this for the vibe.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking Thwipit martial artist one. It's like, yeah, sure, I could probably play a martial artist, like grappler archetype. However, I want the vibe of using a tail or a tongue and like Scorpion get over here with a tongue. That sounds way more fun.
Or
that's I want to play a funny frog who beats your ass.
Like were creature when like the werebear has a kind of like a grapple-ish feat that's not as good as a wrestler feat, and they're just like, wrestler's feat is better than the werebear. Werebear sucks. And it's like, yeah, but you get to be a werebear with were creature powers. What's very different than being a wrestler.
Yeah.
Dandy is genuinely a really good archetype. I'm so surprised. I was so surprised how well Dandy does. It's really, really good. Celebrity, not as good, but it still can be really good in a lot of situations. Like, so many of the archetypes are genuine. Like, hey, thanks, Gray, for the resub. I guess where you just got gifted a sub? Yeah, you did. You just got gifted a sub, and you just...
Well, they gifted somebody else a sub.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Then thank you. I appreciate it. The new baby will appreciate it too, hopefully.
It's just like, I get it. Statistically, something might be worse. Sure. But what about the vibes? What if it looks or sounds cooler? Like, I just scrolled through your comments for your Claw Dancer, and it's like, this is bad because I can't bite. It's called Claw Dancer.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Also, the funny thing about that particular comment, the bite from lizard folk is worse than the talon strike because they do the same damage, but the talon strike has 2 traits and bite has 0. It's literally just a worse talon strike.
Jesus. It's just like, you know, it's the stuff I look at, and then I'm looking over at the character. The character I'm fucking most excited to play, by the way, is my my Swarm Keeper like witch poppet. Where I want to play this guy so bad, even though I'm looking at it and I'm like, this archetype is disappointing. It is just a significantly worse animal companion. Yeah. But the vibes are cooler, and we play with free archetype.
See, now,
so
what's funny is, so I got it was alluded to in the comments in the Claw Dancer that no one's being critical of this archetype because new shiny. I was so excited for Swarmkeeper ever since I heard it existed. And in my video, I'm like,
disappointed.
I was like, this is not a really great archetype. But I have discovered a combo with Swarmkeeper that's really cool, and now I want to play a Plague Knight champion that rides on a swarm.
Hey.
It sounds so cool, and it works really, really well.
That sounds sick. But yeah, I mean, like, logically, I can look at stuff and be like, yeah, technically this is worse. Like, sure, it's worse. But, you know, it's different if you're playing with free archetype. And granted, not everyone does. I actually saw people say, for some reason, they were saying, I actually really hate free archetype. It makes the game worse. And I was like, I can't relate at all. In fact, that is a wild take, but fair enough, I guess.
Well, okay, so there are also a subsect of tabletop players who want to play grisly, really rough, very slow tabletop, which is fine. There are OSR games out there for you.
100%.
Lol, the Starfinder Discord sure is a place, huh? Oh no, what happened there?
Oh no, is that... I wasn't meaning to reference that, but if I was...
Also,
even accidentally.
Yeah, easy. I literally read today somewhere complaining that rat folk were worse elves, and I wanted to bang my head against the wall. Yeah, like, what an absurd take that someone is so concerned about something dumb. I can't even imagine how an elf is better than a rat folk, other than... Nope. Don't know. Maybe better ancestry weapons.
Like, I mean, like, the ancestry options for elf are something we've kind of shit on for a while,
elf
because
feats
like,
are kind of garbage.
They are.
Like, yeah, sure. Some of them give you access to cantrips and some spell casting. Woo, cool. That's when you compare it to something like even like what dwarves get. Oh, you're responding to Easy. I see. I saw that comment too. Oh, was it in the Starfinder Discord that comment came out? That's crazy.
That... Okay. Yeah, that is fair. And also, yeah, that is such a wild take. I'm still like thinking about it. I'm just... You know, that's another take that's gonna live in my head rent free.
Yeah, well, it's because it's just like... And yeah, of course, I understand. Don't get me wrong. Dumb people are dumb people, and there's nothing you can do to save that. There's people who come out with just the most batshit and just incorrect takes. Like, I literally had someone come out and just correct me so wrong, I didn't know how they managed to do it.
Love it when that happens.
It's like, you didn't even read the game. I don't understand what you're talking about.
I had that happen with my... It's one of the reasons my Trench Crusade, I think, did so well. It's a lot of people commenting. A lot of people don't like the game for reasons because they were told to by other people. That's the reason.
Yeah.
And one of the comments I got really fucking sits in my head with how goofy it is someone saying, I don't want to play the game because the devs are woke, so no. But two, because the devs don't care about historical accuracy in any way.
It's all history.
Yes.
They have bomb witches.
The whole point I made was the timeline literally pivots in 1099, and then someone came in, thankfully, from the actual community in like the Discord, that like there's a couple people from the Trent Crusade like Discord and community that are like, hey, there's stuff that's only been like lore released in here. Let me like answer some questions. And I was like, oh, this is super cool. Thank you. It's been confirmed that the Trench Crusade world is a completely different world than ours from inception. Like, so that point doesn't even fucking matter anyways. It's a different world. And like, while the things are called like Christianity and Islam, they are technically different religions with different holy texts. Definitely as a like, we're not as a like get out of jail free card for blaspheming is what they're doing. Because like 100% people have been accusing them of like blaspheming their religion.
Yeah.
But like, that to explain away like any historical stuff they might get wrong, they straight up said this is a different world. And yeah, there's a timeline pivot. They don't have to be historically accurate for a time that doesn't fucking exist. And it's sitting in my noggin, and it's so goofy.
Also, I wanted to say, yeah, congrats, Perkysaurus. It said, I'm GMing a newbie group through Age of Ashes. They're loving the remastered system. I'm glad that a bunch of new people are getting in with the remaster. I think it's a really good
Yeah,
point to jump in. I
it's a
wanted to
great
say that
point to
because,
jump in.
people come in to be like, hey, I'm playing this game. Yes, you are. Good job.
I'm glad you are. It's a good game to play.
Yeah. Rage bait at its finest. Like, sometimes yes, but literally, like, okay, so same comment we were talking about in Claw Dancer where they're complaining about their lizard folk not being able to bite while in their Claw Dancer stance. And then literally in the same paragraph, like the next sentence, you want your Leshy to use its ranged attack? Nope. And I'm like, Leshies don't get claw attacks. A Leshy can't be a claw dancer. What are you talking about? It was the most absurd take I've ever seen of literally just at the beginning I said you must have a claw attack, a permanent claw attack. Someone else said this would be great on Wild Instinct Barbarian. And that's not technically true either because barbarians don't get them permanently, only while they're raging, I believe. But you could still do it. You just have to do it in a different way. Regardless, yeah, like a graft or an actual archetype. But the literal take of my Leshy can't use its range attack in a stance that uses only claw attacks, claw or talon attacks, which Leshy can't innately take, and would actually kind of struggle to take, I guess, is the level of which it's just like, yeah, people are dumb. This is why I don't correct people in my comments. Unless it's something that's very simple or something. Also, you can choose not to go into the stance. That's an option. You can also choose to leave the stance as a free action, so you can do your Leshy attack. And the great part about Claw Dancer is they have a bazillion reactions that let them get back into their stances.
See, my problem is I can't help myself. I see something just completely wrong because, like, I see it, and my immediate thought is, I don't care if they keep thinking that the dumb thing they think. I want to make sure other people don't scroll down the comments and go, damn, I guess Glue Boy fucked that one up, and then keep scrolling. I just want there to be, like, the correction that's like, and I only do it for ones where it's like, there's factual information that's proving this wrong. What are you talking about, bro? Or the other one, which is like, which has always been happening in my Treachery said comments of, I need to make it extremely clear where my values lie. Please do not get this twisted or try to like imply that I agree with you on something, because it is, the anti-woke comments are getting on my nerves. I'm becoming less and less nice to the point where I'm not responding anymore, but I'm like, I'm not going to be civil. Because Jesus Christ.
What even is optimal in Pathfinder 2e?
Yeah.
Not intentionally playing inoptimally.
You, again, man, you got to make the character that is intentionally bad.
I will at some point. I will make the worst possible character I can imagine. I will try.
It would be such a good video, and it proves such a good point of like, really have to like try to make something bad. Because like, while there can be stuff in builds that are worse than other builds, you are not going to have a class or a build that is bad in a campaign, in a normal game. That is the point to hammer home, because I know that if you slip on that point in any way, the Redditors are going to be like, actually, for my White Room combat mathematical calculations.
Well, the worst part about the video is one of the points they're going to prove in the video is even the worst built character can be played and still relatively function well. Because there's going to be people, and I'm going to, despite me hammering it home in the video, that as long as you're not intentionally playing poor, because that's a difference, right? building a character poorly and playing poorly are two very different things. You can
Yes.
definitely have a very good build and play it poorly, which makes the argument irrelevant.
You can just make bad decisions.
You can be a fighter with -1 intelligence and then just start multi-classing into which you can't even do, but multi-classing into like some spell-casting archetype that doesn't require you to have a high intelligence and use nothing but spells. That doesn't make your character bad. You just chose to play poorly, and that's not the point of the argument. The point of the argument is, can you make a bad character in Pathfinder? And the real answer is no. You can make a okay character in Pathfinder at worst.
It's just based off of what Easy Does It says in that making that hypothetical situation with like soloing the boss. I feel like these Pathfinder math crunchers should make a white room combat scenario where their character talks to a woman. Then maybe they'll design a character for other fucking situations.
How would your character do in a white room combat with a woman? Tell me that. Tell me who's playing optimally now.
Talk to another person.
Glue Boy is based as fuck.
Clip that. Post it on the Reddit.
All right. Clip time. Edit. That's not what I want. Oh no, did they change the screen? Oh no, there it is. With -1 intelligence and then just start multi-classing into which you can't even do. It's probably somewhere around there. I don't know. I'm just going to grab this clip and then hope it captures the right part, and then I'll just edit it later.
Yeah.
But
I just can't stand, like, it's the thing we've talked about so much. It's the idea of simulating shit when it's like you're playing a game with other people, like you're having other problems. You're solving, maybe you're like in a campaign where it's like you're solving a fucking, I don't know, murder mystery. And then you have your perfectly optimized boss soloing character and you're standing around because you can't interact with the world. Or just like you have combat encounters that are designed with other mechanics other than let me hit the guy and do a thing. There's other things at play, which is what the designers of Pathfinder have talked about. Just like raw damage is a useless fucking metric. And it's annoying to me endlessly.
Yeah, it's endlessly annoying to me as well. Literally because it's just not true. It's never true. The optimal doing most damage +1 -1 probability bullshit doesn't work most of the time, and in addition doesn't account for the fact that all these plus to, like, there's a chart that is endlessly frustrating on the Reddit that's like likelihoods to hit at certain levels with bonus to weapons or versus spellcasting or yada 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 whatever. None of that math takes into consideration literally off guard, which is,
yeah, that's my first thought was like, okay, and there's a thing for off guard, right?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, like, you know, the part of the game for fucking teamwork. Work with your friends. Do it.
And the thing was, even if it was there, people would still point and be like, look at Fighter, it's so much better. Its number is bigger.
It is like the number, the +2 does occasionally get you the occasional crit when another class wouldn't. But you know what also can get you the fighter +2? Getting an enemy off guard.
Yeah.
And if you make the fighter, an enemy to the fighter off guard, they have now technically a +4. So you're really helping the fighter, and you're adding a lot more possibility for crit, and you're increasing the DPS. So you should do that.
Thanks, Slug, for the Prime sub. I appreciate you. And thank you. Also, Slug is one of our friends. So
yeah. A fighter when a problem can be solved with attack or athletics.
Right.
GM, I try to grapple. This is a conversation with the Duke of the Realm.
I
Ah!
grapple the woman in the white room.
Hmm.
That's not how you do this. I'm sorry. See people poop on Outwit Ranger still, and I just don't think people get there's a party comps that don't involve Authaumaturge anymore. Yeah, it's crazy. Thanks, Perky, for the follow.
I was something because I only lurk in the Reddit now to read because I think it's funny, which is the only thing I use Reddit for anyways. I go down there, I read other subreddits purely because I think most Reddit commenters are insane people, and I think it's really funny. It's so funny. Just try to peer into whatever psychotic lives that the people in "Am I the Asshole" comment sections like try to build, but like the whole aspect I was seeing, especially with like the playtests, because I was like, all right, what do they think? What do other people think about the playtests other than like just our chat and our Discord and like you and me? And I was seeing people be like, this is bad because I can't find a way for it to fit into the optimal party comp slot because these are the classes that are the most optimal picks for party comp. It's like, oh, okay. I hate this. And I was immediately mad and I had to close it because I was like, I can't read this. I hate that mentality of like, we have to build like this instead of the idea of like, all right, let's approach the idea. Like, you can have party comp, you can have flexibility, but maybe we approach a game and the GM looks at it and be like, okay, they might have a little bit of looseness in this area. Let me find ways to address this because I want a game to continue. Because, you know, that's the point of a GM, is to have a game happen. Sure, you can have a game where the GM is like, no, I'm going to punish and like be brutal, which is something you opt into. But I think a lot of GMs in most tables that you're going to join will want to keep the game going. I've worked a long time on it, and so they will, you know, help you along that path. God.
There's dungeon meshy builds on Pathfinder Reddit. Ooh, that's pretty good.
All right, that's
dungeon meshy.
See, that's good content to be put on there.
Content. Yeah, I agree.
I appreciate that.
My only reason for visiting the Reddit is very vain. I only go to the Reddit when people tell me my name has shown up somewhere in a Reddit. That's the only
what
time.
The consensus is.
I'm just like, people are talking about Battle Log Gamer. I'm like, people are talking about the channel. It's happening. And I go and I see, and the number one thing I see most of the time is he doesn't edit his videos that much. And it's like, man, I don't know what people think. Like, I feel like people just have some video game brain rot where they're so used to videos of people talking with like Subway Surfers or whatever underneath or soap cutting. If you ever watch any channel that covers video games, the only thing they have in the background is literally just them playing the game and talking over it. Most of YouTube is not that edited well.
Yeah, whenever I see that, I usually am like, I click away because I'm like, I don't want to watch this. And like, I mean, I usually listen to YouTube videos a lot of times, and it's like, yeah, you just record video game B-roll and like that's your background. When it's essentially what I'm doing is like, it's what we're doing really. We record ourselves. That's the B-roll, and then we have the stuff pop up when we need to reference to it like visually. But it's just we're not doing video game like stuff that you can watch.
If a video isn't edited with a cut every 5 seconds, I start falling asleep. Yeah, that's the TikTok brain rot nowadays.
There's the new editing style that's a lot like that. I forget the name of it. It's like alpha brain dump or something, or alpha brain rot core or something. Where you edit a video and the speed of the video and like just changes constantly. Things replay where like something suddenly speeds up really fast and then it's really slow, and it speeds up and it slows down again. Like it's just all over the place with its edit. Like something will just repeat for no reason. Gen Alpha brain rot is what the editing style is called. And I worry for the people that might like that unironically.
Yeah.
Because I see it and I'm like, has to be made ironically.
Someone who
but
has
then
go
there's
ahead,
people
sorry.
who might like it unironically. That always will be there.
Yeah. Someone who has really good editing that kind of fits that 5-second marker is Bricky, but he does it
Yes.
really, really well. But
Ricky
well,
is
he
great.
doesn't do it well. His editor does it really, really well. And that's the number one thing I think people need to remember. I am not a professional editor. When I can pay for one, then you guys can get the edited shit that you want. Which means, you know, buy my partnered shirts.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
I
Member.
I genuinely do think, like, and this is something we've talked, Cam and I have talked about off camera, and it's brought up in chat, Gabriel. I will be honest, when it comes to like content, I do think when people are complaining about like, it's not even edited, I think really the complaint is a nebulous, they don't like your content, but they don't know the proper terminology to actually give you a critique. That is what I read when I see that, because having been in a field, in like a educational field, where I had to learn and like be taught around how to critique things properly, because I was critiquing and being critiqued constantly. And you then learn the language used by people who don't actually know what they want when they're trying to critique something. And that's one of the nebulous statements people will give. And for YouTube, I do think editing is really fucking nothing. It's a nothing burger. If your personality can sell it, you are fine. You need personality, and you need to make sure that your videos don't hurt people to listen to. You need to make sure your mic is listenable and not painful. Those are your two bare minimums. Once you do that, you will find people. And then it's just consistency. Like that's really it. And if you want more stuff, you'll have to like learn how to actually edit, like go crazier. You have to make sure your personality is fantastic. You have to go all in. You have to be super consistent. You got to find something on the pyramid to invest in. Or just hit all three, and if you can't hit all three, you hire people who can. That's the trick. A lot of YouTubers hire an editor for that reason, because editing is
videos
hard.
need more star swipe transitions.
Yeah, use the default Windows Movie Maker
I
transitions.
need bubble transitions in all my videos.
We're
gonna go bikini bottom in here.
You should throw some of those in, just to give them the dangling keys. I guess that's what they want.
Every time I make a cut to like make us, every time I cut just because I'm thinking about something for like a second, it'll be just a transition mid-sentence essentially. It'll be great. Yeah, problem is people don't recognize actual editing. Actual editing is supposed to be a single immersive video, and that's often supposed to be an invisible hand. That's the thing. It's not about
a comment
editing.
From an actual editor. Like that's the part where also, because I do know
editing for narrative declaration.
I know whose channels you work for. I've seen your account on Reddit. Like I know, but also like I read that and I'm like, fucking thank you, somebody who understands. The amount of times I've heard that in school, and I heard, now I'm hearing it in the wild. Thank God.
See, now the problem is it's actually perceived quality. People think that things that are higher edited are better quality content. The problem is when you deliver informational content, what's supposed to be important is what you're saying. It's not supposed to be how well the edits make you look like you're smart. So
yeah, and yeah, my man.
Yeah, another film school junkie here.
Yeah, I love going to film school, using it for internet content creation.
Me and graphic design, all my thumbnails.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I just have to live with the forever shame of, while I'm recording and making decisions as I'm recording, that I just picture two of my professors watching me and constantly shaking their head in shame. because like the amount of times I hear their voices in my head be just like in camera editing, really. And I'm like, this is a YouTube video. Shut up.
Shut up, shut up.
Get out of my head. Get out of my head. It's the Akira like meme.
Please leave me alone.
This just like old ass like my professor just in my brain, just get like mad at me, pointing at the screen. What is this? Like, no.
Yeah, Nirek is right. The number one thing, clear audio. Second, don't have your breathing in it. I am so ashamed. So very recently, every once in a while, I'll kind of do like a channel and review day where I look through a lot of my old content. I see how my channel has changed, and I try to develop like, okay, what changed at these points where my views started going up? What happened? Yada yada yada. My breathing can be heard in a lot of my earlier videos, and I didn't know that. And I remember hearing my breathing at some point and being like, oh, let me put an auto gate on here. The reason why that ended up happening in the first place was because I like to edit while I'm watching something. So I turn the like Premiere down audio wise so that it's not so loud, so I can hear whatever else I'm like listening to at the time. And I could not hear my breathing. So
I see.
yeah, a lot of my early videos I hear it all the time, and it bothers me to no end. A majority of Why This Class Is Awesome is plagued by it. Good thing I'm doing Why This Class Is Awesome again with remaster. Because yeah, that's really bad. I'm glad my new mic has an auto gate in it already, so I don't have to worry about
it's
it.
handy. Yeah, and yeah, I think it's for Easy Does It. Like it's the part where it's echoing the idea I have where you see somebody complain about like the lack of editing or bad editing, and if it you can see usually in the way they're talking about it, because it's the method. Like people confuse certain terms with just calling stuff that isn't editing. And it's I assume, yeah, you know this too, especially the it's the people who they have a critique in their head. It's a nebulous thing, and they just don't have, for whatever reason, they don't fully have the understanding of the trade to be able to communicate what their actual problem is. No fault. They don't even have to learn why it is. Not everyone needs to. But it's what I see when I see somebody like really try to critique a YouTuber. And a lot of times they try to build it to like some larger thing of, I don't like this person for such and such reason. They come up with like their content is style. They do these creative choices, and it's like that's meaningless words. Or they're like, for these moral reasons. It's like, that kind of sounds made up on the spot, but sure. When in reality, I think we just need to go back to the good old days where we can just hate people because we want to. That's just the truth. You can just say you don't like somebody and not have to have a reason. That's fine. Just be honest about it. I do it all the time. But yeah. I also just think, like, you don't need... Yeah, just go full K-Dot. I respect him so much. Just be a hater. But yeah, I every time, Gabriel, I get compared to Bricky, I'm immediately happy, because I'm like, that is the guy I'm ripping off slightly. But also, I am like, every time I'm also like, yeah, but Bricky's funnier. So like, I'll like, he's got it. He's got it up, though.
Yeah, but he's been doing it for 10 years.
Exactly. He's been doing it longer. He's got the practice. He's got the stuff all set up. He's doing it full time. And I watch his stuff and I'm like, God damn, his scripted stuff so tight. He is just funnier. He's just built different.
I think it's something that anyone can really get to at some point. Who's Bricky? Who's Bricky? Just look Bricky up.
You should watch his stuff. They're really good.
He's really good, especially Warhammer stuff.
Warhammer stuff, and the other thing I will recommend, he has a lot of gaming stuff, but he recommends a lot of genuinely good games and random indie games. He's shouted out 2 games that desperately need it. One game that didn't need the shout out, Baltro, which is a beautiful roguelite, one of the best.
Balatro,
and another
yeah.
game, RoboQuest. Play RoboQuest, everybody. RoboQuest is so fun. It is fantastic. It is such a fun first-person shooter roguelite. It's so good. And I was really happy to see him talk about it because it's like, oh, someone else knows about RoboQuest? Finally.
A couple friends of mine are working with Bricky on their new merch stuff. That's so cool.
Hey!
Man, Easy, how do you know all these cool people? I'm jealous.
Good old connections.
Connections, indeed.
Oh yeah, the Explaining Warhammer to My Girlfriend series. I know that one.
My beloved is a permanent part of my vocabulary because of him. I watched the first video where he started using that, and I knew it was going to be huge ever since, because it was just it's one, it's just such a Bricky line, but two, it's just great. From over a decade of editing dumb anime parodies,
That'll get you.
you know what? You put in the hard work, soldier. You've earned every bit of it.
That's digging in the trenches right there.
You're hardcore. Whoa, now. All right. I want to be like you, but not at that cost.
That's just the OG YouTube work. You got to spend that
Yeah.
long working on something, and then suddenly everyone else grows around it. It's great. The only bit I like, I feel bad about it, but I also don't. The only stuff I don't watch for Bricky at all anymore is Warhammer content. But that's because I can't watch Warhammer content anymore because I spend so much of my free time reading it. To where like I just can't. I
Yeah.
can't listen to other people talk about Warhammer because I'm just like I already know this. Skip it. I know this.
I have no idea who Ricky is unless, wait, he's on his VTuber arc right now. It's great.
I every once in a while I see a thumbnail and I'm like, good for him, I guess. And I keep going.
There's so many people he knows now due to that. It's crazy. They're not all VTubers either. He's stepped up in like the YouTube circles. It's good to see.
Hell yeah.
He's a great guy, and I'm glad to see him stepping up in the YouTuber scene.
My friend met him in Las Vegas at one of the Warhammer Opens, and gotta thank him because Bricky is responsible for getting my entire household into 40K.
Yeah,
it was his video. So yeah, and it was the thing of like, you get this a lot, but you are the reason like I'm here, and all my friends got into this with me. So like, thanks. And also the other bit he told me was he's like, man, Bricky's so fucking tall.
Yeah.
It's just like it was one where he was just playing the stupid ass Night Lords like army he had.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing him live tweet it where he's like, this list sucks, but let's run it. It's like, God, he's so base for that.
Yeah. I love his Doge Van Dyer. That was
good
really
old classic.
Great. Yeah, it's a we got super off topic there for a bit, and ran right into the end of the table talk, which kind of sucks. Honestly, hype conversations overall. Mostly just starting off with just talking about biggest pet peeves in tabletop design. The stream really picked up during the bash on D&D 5e as much as possible.
As it always does.
As is tradition.
Go back to old reliable. We stare at the core book and just go, I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you talk. I hate it.
1 second.
If 5e wasn't bad, why is it so easy to make fun of? Excellent point. Oh, man.
No, where is it? Can I not do my own bit dono?
Are you not able to bonk or something?
No, I was gonna do the 50 gold pieces. Dang it.
Have the 50 gold pieces.
50 gold pieces. 50 gold pieces. Why is it so easy to bash 5e? Thanks for the bonk. So real for that.
Oh god, the 44 rules thing.
The 44 rules.
Oh. I do think that'd be really interesting to actually talk about. Only because I think it's interesting, but you got to take into account that is written from the perspective of a broken man.
Thanks for the bunks, guys. Love
Hold
it.
1 sec. I'm allowing them all.
There's more?
Yeah. I was just allowing. I have to accept them.
You have to accept them?
Yeah, there's something. It pops up in the rewards requests. Like the best part about the 44 rules thing, it's such a funny list because it's like every once in a while an actually understandable like thing, you know, it's an understandable boundary, and then it's like some psychotic shit.
Yeah, I have watched the bunks. They don't stop. Oh, that's you, you fuck.
I just want my own.
This is why y'all should be on the. That's why y'all should be on the Twitch. We got 1,000. I need to up that to 50,000.
I do have 111,000 channel points.
Then you could only get at least 2 bonks. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, the 44 rule or the 44 rule thing. I don't know what. Let's ask all y'all. What should we do? Should we have a video around it, or should that just be like next stream's table talk, where we review and all bash on it together? I'm cursed. Bong's gonna get updated to 100 bits here.
You probably just got to increase it.
I definitely need to.
I'll keep accepting them. It's my job. It's my job to keep clicking that check mark.
We probably should have a thing so you don't have to do it. All right, enough with the box.
You can turn them off.
How do I turn them off? Oh, here's how you do it. I'll work on that another day. Actually, let's see. No.
Could do the 44 rules, but you need notes. I don't need notes. I'll be completely real. Built different on one hand. I hold that in my one hand. On the other hand, I have read them, really thought about all of them, and do have a lot of bits where I'm like, God, like, it's really, I read it and I'm just like, every once in a while, there's an inkling of a very fair boundary you can set at your table. And then it's written from a man who's broken. And that's
honestly,
what's really
don't
fascinating.
think it deserves its own video. All right, seems like we'll have a stream then talking about the 44 points. So I'm gonna say it right here, right now. Next stream, we're doing the 44 points. We stream, typically anyway, most of the time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The 44 points, we're going to have to start like right away. So if you don't want to miss out on any of what we're talking about, I recommend being there for it.
And for anybody that is not aware of what the 44 points are, I'm going to quickly scroll down my Twitter likes until I find it. Or my Twitter replies, actually. I did actually tweet about it. I will post it in our Discord.
Well, I know they took it off of Twitter.
Someone else posted it.
Okay.
So I have a picture of part of it, and I'm going to look for the entire thing. I will find all 44 rules for D&D.
Yeah. But we'll even drop it, in the Discord. Have some chats about it there. So if you're not in the Discord yet, check out the description below or the link below. And overall, it'll be a good time. We'll talk about it. I am a GM of over 20 years experience at this point. So I feel like I'm more than qualified to talk about the 44 rules set by a GM.
Oh, thank you for the archive. That helps. Oh, it's 4 days ago too.
Yep, there it is. All right, thank you, my man. Doing the Lord's work.
As long as the mods don't delete this, and so to be just so ever so safe, I'm actually just going to screenshot these.
But yeah, so we'll talk about it. It's going to be a really fun stream. You want to see a rant? I've watched some people talk about it before and some of the things. I watched XP to level 3s. I think he did like half of them or something in one of his videos. Saw them, very crazy. So we'll rant. We'll all get to have a fun time, just chatting about the 44 rules. And I'm sure it's going to be a stream with plenty of clip-worthy moments. I think it's going to be great. So with that, I think we've run our time. I made up a little bit. We started late because I had something come up. So we've gone a bit over. We even started sooner. We don't normally have like a 5-minute like preamble before the actual stream starts. So is there anything, Alex, you want to leave us with before we head out today?
If you are interested in tabletop lore, go check out my channel. It's Glue Boy. It's linked in Cam's YouTube, or just look it up. Or just look up Trench Crusade, I guess. You'll find me now. The video I did make on Trench Crusade, I'm pretty proud of. I'm actually really happy it's doing so well because I think it turned out good. It's a fun video. In Trench Crusade, I do truly believe is going to be a shining star indie release for wargames. So if you're in any way interested in wargaming or even getting into wargaming, it's going to be a really good, cheap alternative, since a big part of their rules are proxying stuff and even proxying with like paper models. So like they don't even have any rules. They're like, you can just use fake models. You don't need to pay a cent for the actual shit, like at all. The game rules are actually really good, having read through them, so I'd check it out. They're gonna have a Kickstarter down the line that I honestly think a lot of people should go give them the support, at the very least for the art and the lore, because it's some of the coolest I've ever seen. And I will make more stuff once my lungs decide to cooperate with me, which hopefully will be soon.
All right. As for me, have no fear. My child will not be here at least this year, but early next year. So videos should continue more or less the same, at least until September, give or take. Other than that, I think I'm going to post another Fabula Ultima video tomorrow. Originally, I was going to do the Ranger options from Howl of the Wild, just because I haven't covered them yet. And, you know, some new Ranger spells or focus spells is pretty cool. But a lot of people were very interested in Fabula Ultima, and a lot of people want to know how the game plays. So I think I'll do a video on that tomorrow. And then, other than that, every week I'm going to cover... I still have one more Ancestry to cover from Howl of the Wild. And I still have 3 more Archetypes, I believe, to cover from Howl of the Wild. So those will be continuing on. We have Lancer. We're now going to have Fabula Ultima every week. And then if I feel like I don't have anything else I need to generally cover, I'll get back to making class videos. Since I will be trying to find part-time work sometime in September, I really want to make the most use of out of my time. So I'm going to do my best to keep uploads consistent to like close to 5 videos a week. I feel like that's very obtainable and that should be good enough for the channel. And hopefully we can rush to 10K. I feel like it's very possible by the end of the year. And who knows what opportunities we'll get to see because of that. Other than that, I don't really think there's anything. Look forward to next week's stream. We're going to cover the 44 points of D&D rules, and I'm probably going to end up ranting quite a bit during that video. I unlikely we'll see all 44 points. I don't know if we'll actually get to it all in the time we have, but we'll do our best.
There'll be a couple where I'll see like us talking more about it, but there are a couple where it'd be us going like, that's fine, or some of us where we're going, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, the hard part is 44 points. Even if we talked about it a minute each, that's still like half of our stream. And if we do 2 minutes, then that's almost the entire stream.
Yeah, exactly. It's just...
And that's if we just have nothing else that we talk about in that time. Like,
yeah, well, we'd have to rush some. And like, we're definitely not going to finish it. But yeah, it's...
We'll get to the good parts.
I'm excited. I have things to say about it.
Yeah, make some marks. Make some marks on some of the rules in particular you want to talk about. And we, like, at the end, we might, like, lightning round some of the most interesting ones if we don't get to them. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, it's going to be a really, really fun stream. But that's going to be it for us. Thank you all so much for watching, and I guess we'll say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.